So I just bumped into you on one of the fields with a group of intrepid mushroom hunters.
So my name is Hayley Greggs, and I am the community engagement worker here at Kindling Farm.
And are you local to the farm?
Yeah, so I live about 10, maybe 15 minutes down the road. So I'm living in Hunts Cross. So I'm super excited to have this kind of thing on my doorstep. And I started working for Kindling Farm back in March. So I've only been here a couple of months, but we've been super busy since then.
And so are you like outreach work, and you make sure people can get access?
Yeah, so at the moment we're very lucky. We've received some money from the Heritage Loss Refund. So over the next couple of months we are delivering a programme of heritage activities. Some of them are open to the public, so things like we've got a preserving day in a few weeks' time. We'll be doing our heritage fair at Christmas, and we're also looking at areas like natural heritage as well. So we'll be doing things like fruit tree pruning in the new year. So it's kind of a combination of heritage skills and natural heritage, as well as celebrating the heritage of our farm and farming history in the area. And as well as doing the public engagement, we also have some community groups who maybe come and do some workshops here at the farm. So we've done things like fruit tree grafting. We had a gorgeous group come from Knowsley a couple of weeks ago who made bat boxes, and we'll be putting them up on site to encourage more bats to roost here. So that was fabulous. So we learned the heritage skill of carpentry, which was wonderful. And alongside our public events and our community workshops, we also invite schools on site, and a lot of what we're doing here ties into some of the STEM subjects, which is really exciting. And every other weekend we have volunteers come and help at the farm, and our volunteers are incredible. We just could not achieve what we can achieve without them. So they come and they might do things like harvesting. At the moment is a big one. Our squash are just starting to ripe, which is very exciting. We also do a lot of weeding. Being an organic farm here, we need a lot of hands to help us with that. And sometimes it's more physical jobs on the farm. One of the first things I did when I volunteered here was move a huge net. And anyone who knows me, I'm a tiny 5-foot girl who's quite a wimp. So it wasn't an easy job. But that net was a part of protecting our cabbage crop from things like cabbage whitefly and the pigeons as well. So all those jobs are really instrumental to our growing and harvesting here at the farm. Until about 2019, and around then everyone was talking about the well-being benefits of growing, and I thought, okay, I'm going to give this a little go. Started growing in the back garden. I was just like, oh yeah, okay, I'm not thinking much of this, until you see that tiny little seedling appear, and then you just feel like you're the most supreme human on the planet because you've given something life. And then to be able to eat what you have grown is incredible. I've always had a bit of a passion for sustainability, and I feel like there's a lot of mileage in us growing our own fruit and veg as part of a way to reduce our carbon footprint, as a way to be improving our diets, and as well, it is true what they say, it does really have those well-being benefits. So since 2019 I've really got into it, and I've just taken on an allotment, so it'll be interesting to see how far I can go with it, but certainly being here at the farm has taught me so much, and I'll be able to use that now in whatever I do at home or at the allotment. So my biggest highlight is bringing people to the farm who might not normally engage with this kind of world, to be able to come maybe 10-15 minutes or even half an hour from Liverpool city centre into a countryside setting. It just blows people's minds, and especially on a sunny day, it is so serene here. It's gorgeous, and we're constantly learning about the lands and connecting with it in different ways, whether that's the hawthorn is coming out at the moment, and that's really beautiful, or the squash is ripening, and we see different types of wildlife here, and everyone has their own interests around the environment or around biodiversity. and we can sort of see a lot of that happening in action here, which is just so fantastic for people to learn, but also to be connecting with nature in a different way. We can watch it on the television, we can read it in the books, but when you see it in practice here, it just gives you a whole other feeling, and it really does inspire you to be doing more to sustain our natural world.
You said you've been doing some heritage research.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a quick potted history, or?
Oh, I don't know whether I can give you. We're trying to do a timeline at the moment. We haven't quite achieved the whole timeline yet. We did find some information that goes back to the very early days when the site was owned by the Earl of Sefton, I think. And so we were growing things like potatoes and lots of feed for sort of livestock. We also grew things like turnips. And I think the area around us, there is still a lot of people growing that kind of thing here. Not so much the organic fruit and veg. Then we did one of the things that we got really excited about when we were going through the archives is we found that one of the tenants in 1927, she was a woman who got evicted from the farm. So her dad was the original tenant and passed away, and she was left here. But when the land got sold, she was then evicted from the site. So that was something we got very excited about, and we really want to delve a bit more into the history of that woman. So,
You've got some gorgeous buildings. Chris was talking about them. This building's probably, he said, 1850s, and all the barns and outhouses are kind of similar age, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. So our barns actually follow a old Victorian layout, a farm layout. So originally we would have had a cobbled courtyard out in the front, and we would love to have that back. But the reason the cobbled courtyard was replaced was because it's not very practical, so that's something we have to look into now. But we want to retain as many heritage features as we can. We've definitely got some really interesting things. So in one of our barns we have something, and I think it's called a Bernard's Rapid Mill. So it's huge. It's this huge piece of machinery that it sort of goes across 2 different floors, and it would have been used to mill some of the feed for the livestock here. So we're currently working with architects to renovate our buildings. So one of the big questions is, what do we do with that? Do we keep it here as a heritage item to sort of talk about the farm and heritage of the area, or do we maybe give it to a local museum? So I was out doing a bit of a recce for a bat walk the other night, and you know, it's dusky here, and you just see the barn owl fly across the field, or you'll be locking up of an evening and the swallows are chirping over your head, or you're sitting in the office and you know, you can see like a little butterfly tapping at the window, and you just think, wow, I just feel like I connect with a whole other world when I'm here. Fungi Walk today has been brilliant, talking about how we are so dependent on fungi for our food and for our natural world is incredible. And you think nothing of it other than, oh, it's a mushroom. But actually, you know, to think there's over we can't be sure, but there could be up to 9 million different species of fungi. We don't even know them all yet. So, and all of that fungi is helping our plants to evolve, and then we go and eat that. You know, all of it is it's just mind-boggling how much we do not know.
We just don't know enough, you know. But we've lost a lot of knowledge, Hayley, haven't we?
Yeah.
Because we've become urbanised, and the food system's become industrialised, and we don't really, and we want endless variety, and actually that isn't sustainable, endless variety, is it?
No, and it's people want things to be instant as well. I suppose what's been quite lovely about being here is, you know, sometimes when we have surplus veg, for example, and I've been able to either take it to you know, some of the zero waste initiatives or some of the community pantries here, and people often say, oh, this is fantastic. You know, quite often don't have a lot of fresh produce in their pantries or whatever it might be. So that's excellent. And then to say to people, this is grown just down the road, you get people starting to reconnect with our food and our food production system, and that's really interesting for people to start thinking, oh, they're growing courgettes down the road, or you know, there's a shop in Wilton that we're giving our strawberries to, and people are starting to think of food a little bit differently. It informs like how much we're paying for it. When you see people working in the fields, and then you think about how much you're paying for your food differently and things like that. It really is interesting.
It's fascinating, isn't it? It's great to hear you say that, because I do sometimes feel a bit bleak, like people are so divorced from it.
Yeah.
They haven't, you know, and I think actually when people are living in on suppressed means, it's even harder.
Oh, it is.
But actually, food is cheap if you understand it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the understanding is long gone in many cases.
There's only so much as individuals we can be achieving. And as you say, you know, for some communities or people with, you know, it's very difficult either financially or access to that food.
And knowledge as well.
All of that is
know,
really
that
difficult.
Type of thing is hard,
But what we really want to do is we want people to come here and feel empowered, and that they are doing something and creating an action that contributes to making a difference. And that, I think that's why I love it so much. You know, it's about us working together to create small changes that eventually will have a big impact.
Yeah, it's that word access, isn't it? You know, providing access, removing the barriers so people can get to their own relationship with food again.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, that is how you do it. You just take it a little step at a time.
Oh, absolutely.
Brilliant work,
Oh,
Hayley.
thank you. I'm glad you've really enjoyed your day here.
I've loved me time.
Oh,
I can't believe I've only just come here.
Well, you must come again.